Next, I have the pleasure of introducing a person I've known for several years, Eric Litwiller. And let me tell you, he is one of the most joyful people you will ever meet. He has a great smile, a great wife, maybe that's why he's joyful. But he is just a person that you could be having an average day. You get with him, and he is so enthusiastic about life and his job and the wonderful job he's doing that you just leave there thinking, yo, now I can go and have a better day. Thank you, Eric. He moved to Kansas at the end of 2010 and spent the first 7 years in planned giving with a variety of nonprofits. Now 12 years into his fund development career. The part of his job with the Mental Health Association that he enjoys the most is working with individuals to ensure that they have both the financial resources and requisite knowledge to achieve their charitable goals. Let's hear from Eric.
If I were to ask all of you in this room what one thing you wanted to leave to your kids when you passed away, statistically, the vast majority of you would probably just kind of casually say, my house. But I wonder how many of you have actually taken some time and asked your kids if they want that house. In 2014, I was sitting in my office when a couple walked in, and they asked my assistants in helping them determine if they had enough money to retire without running out. So we had a good long, probably hour-long conversation about their sources of income, their retirement plans, their charitable goals, etc. They left a big stack of financial documents with me, and I sat down to work. About a week later, I called them back in, and I said that based on my analysis, it looked to me like they could retire in about 2 years as they had planned, but I did suggest one small tweak. And the tweak was they had some farm ground that I said there was a charitable giving tool they could use to take that farm ground, use it to fulfill all of their charitable goals, and that would leave their savings and their investments, etc., to pay the bills that would invariably come up in retirement. Despite having had a good conversation the week earlier, it wasn't until this moment that they chose to share with me that they were absolutely dead set on leaving that farm ground to their 4 daughters. This threw a bit of a wrinkle into my analysis, and so I asked if it was okay to just take off my financial advisor hat for a moment and just talk to them as the child of parents. See, someday, some anonymous attorney is going to hand me a check as if to compensate me for the loss of the 2 people that I love most in this world. And that money is going to get spent. But what's going to remain are the things that bring back the memories. It's the antique barrister's bookcase. It's the wedding china. It's my father's tool collection. These are the things that remind me of my parents. And while land can do that, I suppose, this couple had already informed me that their 4 daughters were all married, all had good paying jobs. None of them lived in the state. None of them had any interest in farming. The land didn't matter to them. I believed, and I shared with this couple, that what mattered to them was the memories. And they certainly did not want their parents to live on bologna and peanut butter in retirement just to ensure that the land was preserved only to be sold 2 weeks after the parents were gone. And as I said this to them, I looked at the couple, and the wife had tears running down her cheeks. I'll never forget it. And she looked at me and she said, Eric, you've been talking to our girls. Now, obviously she knew I hadn't been, but what she was really telling me when she said that was that she had probably had this exact same conversation with her daughters, probably several times over several years, and more than likely all 4 of them had told her exactly what I just had. But hearing me say that, no vested interest in objective third party, I didn't care how they divested of their estate. It reinforced what their girls had been telling them and freed them up to make the good emotional decision to use the land the way that it made the most sense and still be able to leave their girls with the memories. The truth of the matter is that far too many people do not make the best decision that they can in this span of life. because they still subscribe to the charitable fallacy and the societal fallacy that whatever the biggest asset is, that's what the kids have to take, even if it's over the indifference or even the outright objection of those kids. So my encouragement to you today is to sit down with your kids and talk to them about what really matters. Now, I'm not naive. Even if your kids are in the middle of their prime income earning years and have a fully funded 401k, probably very few of them are going to turn down a 7-figure investment portfolio. But the question is that really what matters to them? Especially when you compare it to the small nonprofit you support every year who's probably surviving day to day on a shoestring budget. The fact of the matter is we're all going to pass away. You can choose to plan for it or not, but it's still going to happen. And your estate is going to be divested one way or the other. So please do make your plans, but when you do, please think about whether or not the values and the priorities with which those plans were made match with the values and the priorities of those that you leave behind. Thank you.